You want to do the usual stuff we do all the time?
Sure, let's think. So we're going to count to 6 real quick just so we're lined
Let's
up.
sync. For some reason, when you say let's sync, I was thinking of like Transformers, like merge.
I was thinking
into
Pacific
Rim
Rim
or something.
When they enter the...
Oh, yeah. Okay, alright, countdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left and right, yeah. Except for the Chinese, they have 3, didn't they?
They
Pacific
did,
Rim?
yeah, they were a trio of people.
Yeah, because they're Asian and they're good at maths or something. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm Asian, I can attest to that. But my math is kind of shit. Yeah, Natalia, I might swear here and there. It's just
I
something.
don't care.
Alright, cool.
Just go for it.
Like, I'm out! Hangs up.
Right. Fuck! Alright. Hello and welcome to the playonultra podcast. This is a very special bonus episode. With me today is co-host Jonathan, or the Foehamner, and Natalia. I have no idea how to pronounce your last name, so I'm not gonna even try.
Hello.
From Kill Monday Games. So Kill Monday Games is an indie developer, indie studio that's released a very new game called Fran, an indie adventure horror, psychological horror game.
Yes.
Jonathan's finished it, I believe.
Yes.
Did you finish it, John?
Yes.
All right. I have to. Just a disclaimer from my side. I tried to play the demo, but I really hate horror stuff, and the demo itself was really disturbing.
It has got some good, some strong imagery in it.
It was really scary for me, so I couldn't even finish the demo. Yes, I'm a pussy, so I don't care. I don't want to play that. It's very disturbing.
It's funny because it was the opposite for me because I don't like scary games, but I love horror games, and so this is like just the perfect level for me. Like, it had all the scary things. There were a couple of jump scares, which were just like it was very good seasoning. Like, this is the right level of like gore and scared for me.
Okay, but it's not that scary in the middle, so you can try that part.
Right, chapter.
I was trying to push myself to
really
keep going. The thing is,
sad.
the thing is, it felt so. I really felt compelled to keep going, but I just couldn't do it.
I understand.
But I can really see the appeal in it though, straight away, right from the beginning. And I really like the art style. It looked so fitting with the narrative and what you're trying to tell and the themes. So yeah, John, why don't you tell what you think about the game first?
Well,
no, sorry. Maybe we'll let Natalia. Can you just like maybe go a bit deeper about what Fran is about?
Well, Fran is a game about this girl named Fran, and she kind of fall into a traumatic disorder that it's because she sees her dead parents, and from there we go in a huge journey with very different worlds and all that. Kind of. I won't say.
It's very hard not to spoil.
Talking about my own game.
Yeah.
It's like to say everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a indie adventure, very psychologically horror-ish, but not scary for some reason, according to John. It's horror, but it's not scary.
It's more like scary, sweet, and weird, you know?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you took some inspiration from things like The Neverending Story, or maybe Labyrinth or Dark Crystal, where there's like parallel dimensions to our dimension, and then you're kind of not sure during the game whether or not it's all just a medicine-induced like fever dream.
Yeah, exactly. It's it has a lot of things to do there. It's so hard for me to explain that. It's like mainly that part about the realities and these two sides you can see. It's mostly to understand that sometimes in our minds, we create some stuff that are so real and they become our fears. And so many times we, like a silly example is to be afraid of spiders and all that. And why are we afraid of spiders? It's all mental. So it's kind of that, and trying to just show it in image. Yes.
One question that comes to my mind is, what made you decide? So you had this story you wanted to tell. What made you want to do it through a video game and not just like a book or digital short?
Yeah. I tried to do it as a stop motion movie.
Oh.
And I was working about half a year. And I did all the dolls and all that, but somebody get into our studio and destroy all the dolls.
Oh, jeez.
And it was like, what should I do with this story? I really want to do it. And a few years later, with my husband, we kind of tried to find a way to mix all the things we like to do together. We like to do movies before and music videos and all that. So we and we love to play games, so it was like the perfect thing to do together. So that's why we decided to start making games in the first place. So.
Did you find you had to change much stuff to make it adapt it to a video game?
Oh yes, like a lot. It's like the same story in the basis, but everything else, like, to implement just the puzzles is like super, super difficult. Totally. Because you have to have issues all the time, problems all the time. Otherwise, you don't have like the puzzles, and you have to just put a random puzzle there, and that's not my idea.
Right.
So it was a bit challenging, but super fun to do.
Kill Monday Games is you and Isaac. Did I pronounce his name correctly?
No, Isaac.
Isaac, right? Yes. So what were your parts in the game development, and what was Isaac's part?
Isaac is the programmer, and he makes the music also.
Oh.
And we both together kind of created the puzzles, like talking ideas back and forth. And I wrote the story and drew it, and I animated, and I don't know what else. But we did like that. I was like most of the graphic and story, and he was more of the programming and music.
I really I liked the art style change for the mini games. Just those 3 mini games, the maze one, and those are, I don't know, this looked really cool.
Yes, I really wanted to make some kind of, ease the eyes and the story, and make it like, even if they're super simple and all that, I really love making claymation, like clay and all that, and I really wanted to put something in the game with that, so the Frogger was like super, super good idea.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
So, you and Isaac used to be in the movie industry, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Did you feel that it's easier to tell a big or complex story using video games compared to maybe a movie or a book? Do you think it's easier to tell it?
Not necessarily, because you have so many ways to go, and especially if it's a point and click, when you kind of want to do to choose between the dialogues and all that. We tried to do that from the beginning, but then with our budget and with the time we had, it kind of failed, and we had to stop doing it that way and make it more of a straight line story. But we tried really hard in the beginning, like having 2 ways to solve the puzzles. In chapter 1 and 2, you can actually do that. I don't remember right now if the other chapters also have that. But yes, it's more complex because you have so many things to think about. You have to think about the gameplay and that the art and everything that comes together. In a movies, we work mostly with people, so it's more it's a straight line. You have everything planned to the shooting day. It's nothing more. In games, you kind of, but that doesn't work so much. So we have to redesign it, and it's a different story, totally.
Yeah, I imagine it's easier because, like, in a movie theater, they're just going to sit there and watch it. In a game, they're going to do things you'll never even guess beforehand, you know? Players can be really dumb or really malicious sometimes, just going around doing things to try and break the game.
Yes, it's hard. It's hard. But it's fun. I mean, I will very much never say actually that is hard. That's wrong. I will say that takes time, and it's a bit like playing games. It's the same thing. You have to organize everything. It's a game you play making the game. So, yes.
I actually really liked the multiple puzzle solutions. Like, and I think when I first encountered it, because I played the demo and I had to replay the demo scenes to get up to the regular story again in the main version. I'd noticed it because in the demo version in chapter 1, the main choice is basically as a guard you're trying to get rid of. So you can either spill coffee on him or give him like a drug-laced donut type thing.
Yes.
And so the first time I just threw coffee on him. And so I had this drug donut with me. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And then I realized later on, like after it just disappeared, like, oh, it's choices. Because I think in chapter 5, there's a very small choice as well where you can either like turn a light bulb off and take it out or put on a glove and take it out. So I really liked having those choices.
Yes, and I think point and click was so fun to do also. I mean, I really love puzzles and put it into a story, you know, with a not just randomized. It's very nice to do. And also, I really wish our next game we learned so much from this. So many wrong things we did, and time we lose a lot of time learning stuff and all that. But now we know, so it's kind of it's super cool, and I really want to do that. Add more puzzles. I mean, it will be cool to have a lot of different ways to solve something, so it feels more free in a way.
Yeah.
That will be cool.
Yeah, I agree it's more free, but it's definitely harder from a game design perspective because it can be potentially confusing to the player. Like, I have these items trying to make them interact, but it's really good if done well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
So you suffered traumatic events when you were younger, right?
Yes.
What compelled you to tell this story? Because it feels as if the story is actually like about yourself. It's like a reflection of yourself.
It has like everything what Fran goes through. It's kind of what I've been through too. When I was younger, and I kind of wanted to do this game not to just to kind of put all my stuff in one place and just get rid of it. And it was actually a pretty amazing journey, and I wanted to do it because I got better, and I wanted to show that it's possible, you know, even it's a story, and it can be also being seen just like a normal game and all that, but it has very personal stuff, and we got a lot of emails now from people thanking us a lot because we did something so personal and so full of hope. Even though it's like a horror game, but it has a lot of hope, and I think that is also for me personally a huge. I feel much better actually. The whole process, it took 3 years to do, so it was like seeing a lot of things happening at the same time. You know, it was amazing.
Was the process? Did the process have like a healing sort of factor?
Yes, for me, yes, a lot. Actually, a lot. Also, there is, I'm from Chile, actually. I was born there, and I moved to Sweden when I was 17. So that's also one part of my healing process, and that's also chapter 3. Sweden has a lot of beautiful nature, and I just kind of fell in love with that and found there a lot of like sometimes we're so not attached to nature, and when you see it so close to you, you kind of feel that it's alive and it has something more than just a beautiful flower, and I kind of felt a weird connection there. Maybe I'm just weird, but I felt that, and I wanted to portray it also in the game because it was so beautiful. So yeah, it was from horror, terrible times to something more positive, and when you encounter those parts, both of them, you have kind of two ways of seeing life. So that's what I wanted to also put in the game. It's not always about the bad things or the good things. Yeah, it's kind of that.
So cool to have a video game about a personal story like that.
Yes. And I mean, it was also a hard journey to do because some of the things really remind me bad periods of my life. And it was like I was drawing in front of the computer, like crying, why do I do this, And Isaac was like always supporting me, like, this is so much feelings into these drawings. So it's pretty crazy. I'm going to open the window here. It's getting dark. So, sorry.
You want to go ahead, John? Or do you want me to continue?
You can go. You can continue. I think, yeah. Continue.
So Mr. Midnight, the cat, he plays sort of like a calming figure for Franbo. At least that's what I got since I was pretty early into the game. Was he based off of someone that helped you when you were going through the events?
Not exactly then, but he's sleeping right there. You see the black thing behind me? That's him. That's Baloo.
Oh.
His name is Baloo. It's not Mr. Midnight. Mr. Midnight was actually from the story that I wanted to do in claymation. That was the name of the cat. So I got Baloo a few years ago, and we kind of grew this super amazing. Well, you know how it works with animal friends. It's beautiful, and yeah, that's based on him actually. The whole
cute.
characteristic. Yeah.
So how do you feel satisfied with how Franbo turned out? Did you feel this is the story that you wanted to tell?
I feel there's a lot more to tell about it, and I feel that I don't want to think money is an excuse to not make something better, but in this it was. I mean, we did an Indiegogo, and we had $28,000 to make the whole game. And Sweden, it's a pretty expensive country. So it only lasted for a few months, actually.
Oh,
and
okay.
We got to get money from somewhere else. And that's... but, if we had a little bit of money, I maybe should do another one. Or, it will be different in the end. It kind of felt like there was a lot more to say, and we didn't have the time, actually. So, but I tried to do the best I could, of course, with the resources we had, and I think we did the best we could.
So you would do a sequel, or just like a second separate movie or game?
I don't know yet. We haven't decided, because there are many people that really love the end, and others that want a sequel. There are others that are every day a sequel, please. And it's kind of I really wish to say yes, we're going to do it, but I can't for multiple reasons and money things and all that. It's kind of, it's such a pain in the ass when it comes to money, because when you love something, like as children, you just play something, you love it, you just draw something, you just do it. But when you're a grown up, it's like, how it works. It's totally different. But yeah, I hope we can get to do it. It will be super awesome.
Oh, this is a random question. Have you heard of a video game coming out tomorrow called Army Krog?
Yes, of course.
Okay, because you said you liked claymation, and this is a claymation point and click, so it seems right in your...
I want to play that one. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, of course.
Okay, that was random. No, I'm kidding.
Something
I'm
in
kidding,
your interest
John.
level.
Yeah, I know. So, you and Isak didn't have any experience making games prior to Franbo, right? This is your first game.
Yes.
Is this your first attempt ever?
Yes, we start with it, making, a prototype and all that. We didn't know anything about programming or how a game was made. We just thought, we do a game. I think, these new challenges you get in life into. And we thought, okay, we can do a little game, just a very little game. And and then it started to grow a lot, and we had so much fun, playing it also. The alpha demo was like, wow, super cool. And then we decide that, okay, we do just this Indiegogo, like Kickstarter, and we try, why not? We really want to do it. So it went all well, and that's why we are here. It's like a lot of events that happen just very, very weird and fast also. And in the meantime, when we were doing Franbo, we did small games in between. And they're on our website. We did for Ludum there. I don't know if you know about that. Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, but Franbo is our main game and the biggest one. And yes.
So what did you guys learn during development? Because this is technically your first game. So what did you learn, like, developing a game?
I learned that you can do anything if you really want to. And I learned also that time is, my God, it's really, wow. You really understand the value of time when you need to do something in an amount of time. So it's kind of that. And also learn that I can live very, very easy with just having internet, a computer, and paying the rent. That's the only thing I could do under these the 2 last years. And also learn that everything, like a lot of life-changing things. I became a vegan while making the game. I became super hippie also. And I kind of, learned to do a game, actually. And I learned also that follow the gut feeling a lot.
Oh.
It's kind of, when you play a game, you kind of don't know what things are boring. But when you do find something fun, you don't know really what it is. So it's kind of, okay, I go for it, So it's kind of that too. It's a pretty organic way of working like that, I guess, but it worked for us, I hope.
I think so.
Yeah.
So did you think that you can trust gamers with such a personal story? I'm not sure how to word this question properly, because this game is basically your story. Did you feel like you can trust your audience to, like, give the feedback that you wanted?
Well, first of all, I did this game with Isak just for the two of us to have fun making it, like a couple thing. And so we weren't expecting anything, actually, and we kind of, now that the game is out, we realize that people are getting the game. They understand what it is about, and that is, like, super cool. And like I said before, just they're sending us emails and all that to thank us. But about the trust, I don't really understand what you mean. Trust.
I don't know that I do either.
Nah, forget it.
Okay.
But it will,
It's late over here. So
is it
probably
something
sleepy.
like we had like a beta testing, maybe trust those
Well,
saying us?
it's like, because you're talking about traumatic events, it's the same as you're talking to a friend about something that happened to you, right?
Okay.
Basically, this game is you talking to us about what happened and how, and your journey going through it and getting past all the barriers. So I think what I meant was like, were there any feeling like that you couldn't trust us to understand the story? I guess. Yeah. That was pretty much the question.
Okay. Yeah. And first of all, I try to do the game super away from myself. In a way, it's its own story. Fran has her own story. It's not 100 attached to me. It's not like I wrote, oh, I'm like this and like this. And I think that's why I kind of have this wall in between, that I don't say everything right in your face. It's more of a feeling thing, you know, more of, so that's why I don't feel that I said everything either. So I'm with myself. And I try to do it a more fantasy-like, so it doesn't fall into reality at all.
That was my favorite moment, I think. I'm not gonna say which scene it was specifically, but there's a scene where I had to, like, look to make sure I wasn't on pills. Because, I mean, in game, not in real life. Because, like, at least in the first chapter, you don't really see anything supernatural unless you're on pills, and then that kind of shifts, like, at some point in the game where you're seeing things and you're not on pills, and then you can go on pills to see, like, what appears to be real life. It's this weird flip, and that's really cool.
Yes, I think that is when you kind of I just try to do that thing that actually reality, what is this thing? Like, I'm holding a cup. Yes, what is this? You know, I have this vision about the thing. You know the term ultra reality in the game.
Yes.
It's kind of what it is at this exact time, but in like microorganism, or everything that is happening that we don't see. And I want to kind of reflect that, but in a more fantasy-like way. So yeah.
It was kind of Alice in Wonderland, like.
Yes, a lot. I mean, I'm a girl having issues. That is like super. And then you read the book, and yes, okay, I kind of feel that stuff too. So.
So I know we've talked about this a little bit just now, but in your next project or game, do you think you will be wanting to tackle another heavy issue like mental health in Frenbo, or do you think you want to try something new, like going away from tackling a heavy issue like mental health?
I really have a very sick humor. I have done other games with my friend Puppet. I don't know if you know him. He's Mr. Red. No? Okay. So this Puppet came to life when we were making the Indiegogo campaign. So he was helping us to raise the money. And I really love to make stuff that are super sick in a way that it's bloody and, super silly humor. And I really want to do more stuff like that, and just, yes, to kill everybody. And, yeah, but the next game we haven't yet 100 thought about it. We kind of want some vacation first.
Yeah.
Been 3 years, and 2 years after Indiegogo and 1 year before that, just working. So I haven't got any vacation since then. Really want something.
You weren't a gamer before this. Do you think you're a bit more of do you think you're going to play games now at all?
Yes, of course. I was in the beginning a bit like,
Okay.
oh, that game looks like that, and that mechanics I can like, oh, it would be better this way, like super. But now I understand that what's the deal? I mean, why I do this? So now in the last weeks I've been more like playing games and just enjoying them, not thinking as a developer, because that kills a lot of feeling.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's not funny anymore if you play like that.
Did what games can you say that inspired Franbo? Or not? Maybe not even just games, movies or anything.
I think it's kind of everything since childhood, and mostly like Tim Burton stuff. It was like super big in the 90s with Beetlejuice and all that, so it's kind of, it really a touch in my head. And also I really love old painters like Salvador Dali. I had this book at home. It was my grandmother's, and I was like looking at it all the time. So it's kind of, I think creativity comes just not from magical. It's a lot of information you have in your brain that it's working all the time. So it pop-ups like, oh, I do this and I do that. So it was like everything, I guess. It's hard to say one or two things. Also nature and the human body. Oh my god, the brain is amazing.
So. Like each of the chapters, I feel like I noticed, maybe not each of the chapters, but I felt like in certain chapters, I noticed a theme in terms of the horror elements. Like chapter 1, I noticed a lot of baby and abortion type things, and then chapter 2 was more like, I'm not sure how to phrase it, but like the twins, there's a lot of reoccurring visualizations with things being fused.
Yes.
Was that a conscious thing? Like this chapter is going to be this thing, this chapter is going to be this thing?
It's kind of that actually, because if you think like one thing, I wanted to design the game as a brain, how it kind of that's why everything is an island also in the game. If you realize there's no parts, like everything is with water, and that's also what I wanted to do, some kind of duality and ideas how they play in the brain is like super weird. And you have to think so many things at the same time just to say one word, and I find that fascinating. And so yeah, that's kind of.
I'm just realizing, in chapter 5, are each of the different rooms supposed to be different parts of the brain?
Yes.
Or the body?
Yes.
Okay, because that's the eye and the heart. Oh my gosh.
That is why in the middle, when we all the doors, is kind of opening these different parts of your body from the mind too. So it's kind of, I feel very, very, very cool about that. Yeah, it was fun to do that part actually. So.
Cool.
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
Is a really, really random question, a really, really small, minor question, really detail. It word. How do you pronounce that? Is that, I didn't know if it's like it word because it's German, or just it word like Edward.
It word.
Okay.
It's just it, like that thing. Word, the thing that works. Frambo, the thing that kind of protects her. And that's the name. And also, I thought it was funny that it sounded like Edward too.
Yeah.
So the grown-ups will like misunderstand the children.
Yeah.
He's kind of a character that takes care of, Fran and all that. I don't want to spoil more.
There's good foreshadowing for him.
What?
There's good foreshadowing for him. Because you'll see him for a few split seconds before, like, you meet him.
Yes. So it's kind of always there, in a way.
And then the mechanical cat that appears, because you don't draw that connection for a while. And then, because I was actually replaying the game a second time, trying to get some of the achievements I missed, like some of the other ways to solve puzzles, and I started noticing a lot more things put together. Because when you first meet Itward, you don't know to trust him or not. And then if you can think back to when you see mechanical cats, that answers that question for you.
Yes, that's one thing that I will recommend. Replay Rambo some other time. To everybody, I've been saying that because for me it worked also like that. I was making the game and then replaying it, and I was, oh my gosh, I understand this more. So it was able to it was cool, that part, You understand.
It's also way easy the second time. Like, obviously, you know the puzzle solutions, because I think the first time through, I recorded chapters 2 through 5 within 7 hours, I think it took me. 6 to 7 hours. So the replay through takes only like a couple hours.
Yes.
It's mostly just clicking through dialogue, but yeah, you know, stuff like that. I still haven't found the twins' favorite doll. I need to do that. That's the trick. Don't tell me.
I won't. Oh, no.
Are you planning to make more movies and all that?
I don't know.
After vacation.
After vacation, we'll see what my brain says to me and my heart and all that. I think I really want to be open to do everything that comes on my way if it feels the right thing. I don't think we should close up to something specific. So I really would like to do more animation movies. I did a couple of short films animated, and I think it's very fun. So I don't know. We'll see.
What's your favorite animated film?
I'm sorry?
What's your favorite animated film that you've seen?
Oh my gosh.
Having to pick a favorite is very hard. So you don't have to say just one.
I don't know.
What is your favorite claymation film?
Claymation film? I don't know. I haven't thought about that. Oh my gosh.
Does claymation and animated counts as the same thing? Does claymation is claymation part of animated?
Yes,
I think claymation's a subset of animation.
Yes, everything that it's like this. If you have a pencil and you put it in live, that's animation. It doesn't matter what materials you use. It really means give life to the dead. Animate. Ooh. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, and but to your question, I don't know. Actually, it's just so many good things. The only thing that pops in my mind is a very old animation, but it's made in cutout. That is the style that I use for Frambo. That is paper figures, and then you move them a bit like a doll, like a puppet. That was made on paper, not Frambo, but the other. It was very old. It's called The Hedge in the Fog, and it's so beautiful. I really recommend it.
I'll write it down.
Hedgehog in the Fog, yeah. So that's also why in Frambo comes a little hedgehog in the second chapter. It's to that.
I remember seeing that. This is the only normal thing in that chapter.
Yeah, and the other one, the Bambi in the fourth chapter also. You remember?
In chapter 4, or the I remember. Is it the end of chapter, the second half of chapter 4? When you wake up in the forest, is what you're talking about? Did we lose her?
Telling you. Maybe you missed it.
Maybe.
Well, anyway.
I was gonna say something about regular things in the forest. Dang it, I don't remember.
So, John, did you tell us about what you think about Frambo? I don't remember.
I didn't really. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really good. I really liked a lot of the symbolism. I did get a bit of a sense of what you were talking about running out of time at the end. That could partly be just because I played the game in one massive session. Basically all Sunday I just played the game. And so I don't know if that meant I was in a weird state of mind by the end of it, but I don't know that I completely understood the end. I knew it was happy, but I don't know that I was able to keep track of what was supposed to be real and what was supposed to be not real. But it was really good. I think the puzzles were really well put together. It was it's a very story-heavy game. There's a lot of dialogue in it. And so it's it's interesting to see how it balances like exposition text, just talking to people to get a sense of the world, versus text you need to take note of to, like, you know, progress in the game. And I think it does a pretty good job of that. I don't know, I don't really have any concrete things to say. I had a really good time. I recommend playing it if you like point-and-click adventure games. It's a good example of the genre.
It is a point-and-click adventure game, so it's nothing more than that. There are many times that they call it a survival horror. It is not a survival horror.
No.
Or, you know, it's a point-and-click with a lot of text. So you must read. That's the thing. I would like to do a game that it doesn't have so much text and it's a point-and-click at the same time. Yeah. But I understand what you say about the end. It's I feel like I would love to show the full reality and the first one, you know, with the Balukas, with the white characters.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yes, and the full reality is about the dead, and I really would like to show that one also. So there's a lot of things that still in my head, and I really want to put it into a game, but I cannot say, no, about making it because it will be like, yeah, you know.
Is Itward from 4? The fourth reality?
What did you say?
Is Itward from the fourth reality?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course. Maybe
that'd be a cool place then. Well, I really like his ship. I'm like, because when I first met him, I'm like, I don't know if I can trust this guy, but I like his ship, so I'm gonna trust him anyway.
It's cool.
What kind of a logic is that?
He's kind of steampunk. I don't know.
And he laughs all weird also. I was like, should I trust that guy too? When I was drawing it, because it has this kind of...
Yeah, the very first time you see him in chapter 1... Actually, no, I can't say anything. I don't want to give away who he is. But I also... You actually made me... The game made me question the loyalty of Mr. Midnight at a couple points. I was like, he hasn't really done anything wrong per se, but there's so much love invested in him. It would be very kind of appropriate for a game that's this cruel to make a big ol' heel turn, or maybe he's the one who did something bad in your past, not to mention anything specific. I don't know, but
yes, it's kind of all that is calculated. I wanted that. You know, it's a silly thing, but with cats you never know, because they attack you sometimes, even if you want to be like super sweet. And I always kind of have that. So, I mean, it's a good friend and all that, but it's a cat. And he's moving. Hello.
Yeah, the cat, he kind of reminds me of the cat from Coraline, and the first dimension guys, you mentioned the hair guys. For some reason, they remind me of like a Guillermo del Toro movie setting, like Hellboy.
I'm sorry, it kind of stopped for a minute, so I didn't hear you.
I think the cat reminds me of the cat from Coraline a little bit, and the long-haired guys from Dimension 1, Reality 1, they remind me, not anything specific, but they seem to me kind of like a Guillermo del Toro movie, like Pan's Labyrinth or Hellboy type thing. I don't know why. Just they look like a fairy in one time, and they look like something, not super friendly in another time.
Yes, cool. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, we like to overanalyze stuff. But I think what he's trying to say is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think you drew from a lot of, even if you can't, even if it wasn't conscious, I think you drew from a lot of cool places that I also probably experienced as a child. Like, not the horror things, but like a lot of the setting things. Like, have you ever seen the movie Return to Oz? It's a sequel to Wizard of Oz.
No.
It's very similar backbone in that it's about a girl who is in an institution and you don't know if the movie is in her head or reality.
Return to Oz, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to write this down to check it out.
I think you would, yeah, I really think you'd like it. At least the first half. The second half gets a little weird. But it's claymation weird, so maybe you'd like the whole movie.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Okay, so I'm out of questions. John, you need to carry the conversation.
Oh, ooh, the pressure is real. I kind of answered most of my questions, because I had questions kind of like about things like if making problems with multiple solutions was intentional from day zero, or if it was a result of time. So you'd be like, we don't have a good way to force the player to solve the puzzle this way, so we're going to give him multiple options. It looks like it froze again, maybe? Oh, we lost her.
Yeah. It's weird. Internet's really weird.
Yeah. Hold on, we're trying to get the call back.
Is it Comcast? God damn it, Comcast.
I do have Comcast. Let's look really quick, Shar. Like, like, you were talking to me earlier that you liked They Bleed Pixels, right?
Yes, I did.
But you don't like this? It's just because it's so much more gore?
It's not to say... I'm not saying it's a bad game. I actually was
Right.
I really wanted to... it's like, we're almost doing a review here. I really wanted to experience the story. I wanted to know more. It's just so freaking disturbing, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, there's... Like I said, in Chapter 1, there's literally, like, fetus ghosts and strangled... Like, it's like a skeleton hanging from the ceiling with a fetus at its feet being hung by intestines, so I can understand you not wanting to see those visuals.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. About that, it's a pretty it's a pretty hard thing to talk about abortion and all that, and it's always like super hidden, like there's always these two opposites about it, and I think both of them have the right thing to say. It's like so, and also sometimes it happens without you want it. And there's some countries, there's some women are on jail because they lose their babies, and that's terrible because it's natural. It can happen like naturally. And here is Baloo. Look at him. Hello, Baloo. You see? Oh.
Okay, look at those eyes, man. Those eyes.
Baloo was the bear from Jungle Book, right?
I'm sorry.
I think so.
I don't remember Jungle Book.
Oh.
Was there a reason why you wanted to, was it more of a shock factor to go straight with all the gruesome stuff right in the beginning?
Not really. It's mainly because when I was visiting or staying at those places, then you kind of see so much terrible things that had kind of change a lot of people. And when they tell you their stories, it's like, it's terrible. I mean, and that's why I kind of don't like grown-ups so much, because they're grown-ups that are doing this stuff to kids or to, and I wanted just to show what I kind of heard and saw and all that. It's hard, and I don't want it to paint it pink if it's not, it's red and it's awful. And I think awareness about those things when you're younger, it kind of gives you a sort of empathetic feeling towards those people, and then maybe when you're older, you don't kind of do that kind of things to other people, it's kind of that. What I try to do here. I know it can be shocking for a lot of people, but it's the truth, and I don't think we should shut the eyes. And it's all cartoony and all that, so that's why I also choose that kind of art, to not do it so right in your face. But then again, you have movies and all that shows a lot worse stuff and more realistic. But they show it like something without empathetic feeling, and that's why you don't feel anything about it. And that's why
do it just to shock people.
Yes, it's like, oh, it's nothing. But in reality, you kind of smash an entire family because of that, or it's just not that bad. It's a story, a whole life behind. So that's what I think. I think we should be more empathetic towards these terrible things that happens. That's why. It's just I didn't want it to put just a lot of blood there because of anything. It's not too appealing to my eyes, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely liked the, like in the first chapter, when you're in the asylum, you'll take a pill in, say, the same room as a patient, and you'll see generally kind of like what's wrong with them kind of manifested behind them. I liked that part more than, like the centaur. It's like a horse with its head cut off and like a human head on a stick stuck in the stump. Like stuff like that.
Yes.
Definitely prefer the manifestations of spirits. A little more interesting. The symbolism's more clear, I guess, rather.
Yeah, and you could see that the children, they also had this medical journal, and you could read what was wrong with them and then see these shadows. And those shadows are just, like you said, the manifestation of the fears or of the trauma. And that's always whispering in your ear, be afraid of this, because it's really fucked up. I'm sorry for using that word.
Oh, you should listen to our episodes.
Okay. So yeah, that's...
Is Franbo set slightly in the past? Because I noticed, like, in chapter 1 again, you have like that kid in the lobotomy ward that didn't go well. So I didn't know if it's set like in a time where, with quite not quite modern science.
Yes, it's based in the 40s because my grandmother is from that time, and it's kind of where my story begins. So I wanted to put it that way. And also, it was like a bad time for humanity in the in everything. So it's kind of depression of our kind. That's why I start there.
Okay, so you guys want to wrap this up?
Yeah, we've gone for a good amount of time, I think.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Natalia, for joining us and talking about mental health and Franbo. Tell the good people listening where they can find you if you want to be found, and Franbo, like give all the links. Give all the links.
Plug it, everything.
Plug everything, yeah.
Okay, you can buy the game on franbo.com. And you find the Steam link and GOG and itch.io there. And also you can find us on Twitter at Kilmondi Games or me at Orania.
I'll put the links in the description, so it's fine, yeah. I'll put the links in the description.
Alright. So I put everything in here then. But that's where we are. Mostly on Twitter.
Cool. So you've been listening to the playonultra podcast. Do all those things. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, and all that for us. Thank you. And do check out Franbo. It's even though I played only very little, I actually feel like buying it and playing it right now.
Well, I definitely think once you get past chapter 1, you personally, I think you'll like it.
Okay, I'm going to trust you, Fo.
You'll enjoy it more. You can watch my playthrough. Episode 3 is coming up today.
Alright, cool. Right.
You can play the first chapter like this. No.
Maybe I'll ask my girlfriend to play it. No, she'll probably hate me for that.
Yeah, mine would. Yeah, she would not appreciate that.
Right. Thanks, Natalia, for taking your time and joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun to be with you guys.
Thank you, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.